So in 2018, I took a job here in Austin, ended up moving here. We rented an Airbnb that was like 3 minutes down the road from Hill Country, and that was our first experience with the church. God showed us that this is where He had called us for that season. Probably about 3 or 4 months after we had moved here to Austin, and I ran into Chuck Barber. He basically expressed that if there's anybody that wanted to launch a small group or felt ready to take that next step, to see him. Ended up being a part of a discipleship group with Chuck, and I definitely understood the call to action of making disciples. Chuck allowed me to formulate a game plan to actually do it, and then to allow other people to replicate it. So that's the starting point for where Andre and I started working together.
Most of my life I was raised here in Texas with my mother, and we didn't go to church as often when we moved here to Texas, but I always knew and believed in Jesus, and I always knew He died for my sins, but I didn't truly know what that meant as an adult, and up until 2.5 years ago. I was kind of walking in the world on my own, I would read the Bible by myself and think that I was doing just fine by that. And I was sitting in my living room one day, and I just thought to myself, is this it? Is this the way that life is gonna be?
Andre was looking for some guidance and some direction in his career. He wanted to follow a similar career trajectory to what I did. And so we started meeting together, grabbing coffee, grabbing lunch on an infrequent basis. And as a result of that relationship developing over time, we got to have more spiritual conversations.
We would go to lunch and talk more and more about our faith, and then it landed him to inviting me to church. After that, he asked me to go a little bit further into discipling me, and he asked me to commit to waking up at 6 in the morning every Wednesday out of the week to learn discipling through Jesus. One thing I did notice that I was doing is I was creating my own Christian bubble. So I started making more believer friends and just making my whole world about Jesus and living in this Christian bubble. But then I surely realized there are other people outside of this Christian bubble who need me, who need the word of Jesus. So I turned and looked at my family and looked at my community.
Andre was getting very fired up about what we were doing, and he was going back to the workplace and talking about starting his day off with Bible studies. And along the way, Andre ended up talking to Josue. I knew Josue as well. I knew everybody in the branch, and Josue was looking for a way to get engaged and interact and take the next steps in his faith journey as well. And so all three of us decided that we were going to go through a discipleship, equipping program.
Each and every day I wake up and I just get on my knees and I ask God, how can I be a light in someone else's life? And one thing that God really placed on my heart was to join the Big Brother, Big Sister program. My little brother, his name is Tay, and slowly but surely I'm introducing him to Jesus. The person that I was then and the person that I am today is completely 180.
One of the big hurdles and challenges anytime I personally, or if I'm engaging with somebody that I hear, is just a barrage of excuses of why we can't do things. And at a certain point, we just have to flip that switch off, of overanalyzing things and coming up with reasons why we can't do something. And instead, we have to embrace the call of the gospel, and we just have to show up and we have to do it. Knowing that we're going to make mistakes, knowing that we're going to fail, knowing that we're probably going to get a little bit of egg on our face. We have to be willing to embrace the call of the gospel. I don't know what that looks like for each individual person, but God has called us to step into other people's lives and to see the impact that the gospel can have on their lives, and to see 180-degree changes in who people were to who they can become when they're walking in their faith with Jesus.